Workers used a remote-controlled crane to remove one of the ceiling panels over the #1 reactor. They put the cover there to stop radioactive materials escaping into the atmosphere. Now they need to take it off so they can clear debris and remove spent nuclear fuel. Officials with plant operator TEPCO say it will take several months. They expect to complete the job by next winter. They postponed the operation again in May after discovering a problem in the building. Workers sprayed chemical agents on the debris to prevent radioactive particles from getting out.
The operator of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant says it has resumed the process of removing spent fuel from one of the damaged reactor buildings. Building number 4 had been idle since last Wednesday. That's when an alarm suddenly sounded on a large crane removing a cask containing fuel assemblies. Tokyo Electric Power Company engineers found that a worker had mistakenly operated the crane without releasing an auxiliary brake. The removal work resumed at noon on Sunday. This was the first suspension of the operation since TEPCO engineers started removing fuel units from the pool in the building last November. TEPCO officials say the process is the first important step in decommissioning the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant. They plan to finish the task by the end of this year.
That was bullshit.
A test run of a key water treatment system at the crippled Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant has been hit by a series of troubles. Tokyo Electric Power Company officials said it had temporarily suspended the system's sole working line on Sunday morning to look into the cause. TEPCO managers say the Advanced Liquid Processing System, or ALPS, is capable of removing almost all nuclear materials from radioactive water at the plant. But a pump that takes contaminated water from storage tanks was found to have a lower flow rate than usual. Workers washed the pump on Saturday night but could not bring the intake flow back to normal. It recovered after they removed sediment in the pump. Treatment of the water then resumed. The utility is hoping to process all the contaminated water in storage tanks by the end of March 2015, but has no prospective date for when ALPS will be back in full operation. Currently, only one of the 3 lines has been operating.
Welcome to this session, Rebuilding Fukushima, Lessons for the World. My name is Yoichi Funabashi, Chairman of the Rebuild Japan Initiative Foundation, Japanese think tank. I'll be moderating this session. I'm delighted to introduce Masao Uchibori, the governor of Fukushima Prefecture. Thank you very much for joining us.
よろしくお願いします。
It's an honor and a rare opportunity to talk with him. And I hope that we will hear, I'm sure we will hear a lot of illuminating points and insights. So I'm really looking forward to this discussion. The Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster was undoubtedly Japan's greatest crisis since the end of the Pacific War. We are still feeling the effects today. In March 2011, 3 nuclear reactors suffered core meltdown. Radioactive materials leaked into the air and polluted that seawater. This discharge caused unprecedented evacuation, leaving more than 160,000 people dislocated. We are approaching that 5th anniversary in March. Still about 100,000 people are unable to return to their homes and communities. To be sure, the disaster hit Fukushima hard.
4 years since the start of the nuclear crisis at the Fukushima Daiichi plant. Now, Japanese researchers want to get a better idea of how the accident affected the people who responded to the disaster. They've announced a long-term health study of workers who might have been exposed to radiation. Staff at a research foundation in Hiroshima will begin the study next month. The organization is supported by the Japanese and U.S. governments. The researchers will focus on about 20,000 people who worked to remove debris just after the accident. They'll ask for details about the work they did and try to determine each person's level of radiation exposure. Then they'll follow up and continue to monitor their health over many years. Officials at Japan's health ministry say this will be the first health survey of its kind.